Hi friends, in this session we are going to understand the Major Arcana as it is called in the traditional tarot. In VyomSutra we call these set of cards the temple cards. Now every soul has incarnated for a particular purpose, and this soul shall achieve excellence and mastery in its purpose in one lifetime or the other. There are 22 temple cards, and each temple card represent important lessons that are to be experienced and imbibed by the soul on the journey to self-mastery. So though these 22 temple cards are presented in a linear fashion, they are independent and autonomous in their teachings, and they can be learnt and experienced in any order. Each temple card or each temple hosts a presiding deity which epitomizes the teachings and the philosophy of the particular temple. Now each of the temple cards are multi-layered in terms of the wisdom that they impart, which we will cover in the advanced courses. But for the purpose of the foundation course, we are going to touch upon the essence of each temple and its presiding deity so that we are well acquainted with the temple cards of this oracle system. So let's begin this journey. At number 0, we have the Temple of Purpose. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Fool. In VyomSutra, it is Gayatri who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Purpose. Now, as per Vedic literature, Gayatri is the mother of the universe, which means she gives birth to the universe. Hence, she is also referred to as the cosmic womb of creation. Gayatri is that part of the eternal goddess that has all the knowledge and is aware that in order to become wiser, she needs to experience this knowledge. So she creates this illusion called the universe in order for her to experience and master the knowledge that is within. Gayatri gets in touch with her desire that she needs to master and the complementary role that fulfills her desire. Hence, the key words for Gayatri is desire and role. This card indicates new beginnings, starting afresh, hoping for the best. There are many possibilities, and we have the freedom to choose as long as our choice is in line with the purpose of our journey. The inverted appearance of this card indicates that we are lost on what we truly desire, or hesitant to take on a new role, or probably pessimistic about starting a new journey. At 1, we have the Temple of Manifestation. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Magician. In VyomSutra, it is Ardhanarishwar who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Manifestation. Now, Ardhanarishwara is that representation of God who is half masculine and half feminine. To manifest anything, we need a vision, an idea, and we need an implementation plan or an action. Our feminine side is the idea, the visionary, and our masculine side is the implementer. Magic happens when a masculine side and a feminine side are balanced, in harmony, and complement each other. Hence, the essence of this card is vision and implementation. It indicates that we are well aligned to manifest all that we desire, and we are happy with all that we are creating. The inverted appearance of this card indicates a delay in manifesting something that we desire, or we are not happy with what we are creating, or probably we are not being able to see the magic that is right before our eyes. At number 2, we have the Temple of Reverence. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the High Priestess. In VyomSutra, it is Parvati who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Reverence. A Parvati is a goddess who is part of the Divine Trinity and is the consort of Lord Shiv. She is the first avatar of God who incarnated in human form, got enlightened about her true nature, and transformed herself into an immortal representation of the eternal goddess. She did this by having reverence for her heart's desire and acting patiently towards fulfilling it. Hence, this card represents reverence and patience. It indicates that we need to have reverence for the true desires of our heart and act patiently towards fulfilling it. For in doing so, leads us to the epitome of divine consciousness. The inverted appearance of this card indicates that we are being impatient, we want too much too soon, disrespecting self or others, repressed intuition, or being plagued with self-doubt. At 3, we have the Temple of Knowledge. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Empress. In VyomSutra, it is Saraswati who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Knowledge. Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge, intelligence, art, and science. She is part of the Divine Trinity and is the consort of Lord Brahma. Saraswati is the patron deity of students and teachers, and she guides us to gain knowledge and wisdom in the skills and talents that she has already blessed us with. Hence, this card represents knowledge and skill and indicates a time to learn from the masters of the subject so that we can take our talents and natural gifts to a higher level. It also indicates a time to teach and share our knowledge indiscriminately. The inverted appearance of this card suggests having a know-it-all attitude, being closed to new information or knowledge coming into the system, having an outdated skill set, or probably giving out more information than that is necessary at the given moment. At 4, we have the Temple of Sustenance. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Emperor. In VyomSutra, it is Narayan who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Sustenance. Narayan is the sustainer of the universe and part of the Divine Trinity. He vibrates between Brahma and Shiv. He is not really attached to the creation, nor is he detached from the universe. He is the only part of the Divine Trinity that incarnates as an avatar and takes part in the worldly affairs. Narayan is considered as the supreme authority in the universe, and he ensures that as long as one is in line with its duty, the resources for its sustenance will always be available. Hence, the essence of this card is sustenance and resources, and it indicates that all the resources that are required for our endeavor will always be available, or our sustenance is well taken care of. Since our body is the primary resource through which we have an experience, this card also indicates good health. The inverted appearance of this card indicates exploitation, abuse, or underuse of resources. The practices we follow are not sustainable, or our health does not support our endeavor. At 5, we have the Temple of Administration. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Pope. In VyomSutra, it is Prajapati who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Administration. Prajapati is a direct descendant of Brahma who incarnates on earth to be the supreme administrator for Narayan. In other words, Prajapati is God's representative on earth. Prajapati is the founder of organized religions and sets structures for a healthy functioning of society as per the guidelines given by Narayan. Hence, the essence of this card is guidelines and structure. This card indicates setting guidelines and structures so that we can excel in our subject or practice. We need to set up a plan, a timetable, a daily routine, and follow it meticulously. This card also indicates that it is important to follow all traditions, the rules and laws of the land in order to work harmoniously in the society. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are being unstructured, indisciplined, our paperwork being all over the place, not following structures or traditions, or being in a dysfunctional environment or a society. At 6, we have the Temple of Love. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Lovers. In VyomSutra, it is Radha Krishna who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Love. Now, Radha Krishna are divine eternal lovers residing in Golok in a divine realm. Golok is a place where there is love for love itself. Radha Krishna incarnated on earth to spread the message of love and to raise the frequency of earth to match the frequency of love. They are one soul incarnated in two bodies and hence epitomize the concept of twin flames. Radha Krishna teach us that complete love and acceptance of the self and the other is the key to open the gates to divine love. Hence, the key of this card is love and acceptance. This card indicates the appearance of our soulmate, our twin flame, or something that makes us whole. This could be in the form of a talent, a hobby, or any other creative project in which we lose time and space. Hence, complete love and acceptance is the key to growth in the relationship. The inverted appearance of this card suggests the exit of love, having false or unhealthy associations of love, mistaking infatuation for love, or not recognizing love that is right before our eyes. At 7, we have the Temple of Strategy. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Chariot. In VyomSutra, it is Krishna who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Strategy. Krishna is looked as an avatar of Narayan who incarnated as a human being during the end of Dwapar Yuga to reinstate dharma in the world. Though Krishna was a powerful king, he became the charioteer to the great Arjuna in the Mahabharata war to symbolize that one should keep moving ahead on the path of dharma. He strategized the entire war of Mahabharata and maneuvered the outcome of the war towards the victory of dharma. Hence, the key essence of this card is movement and maneuver. It indicates an awareness of when to accelerate, when to glide, when to turn, when to brake, when to stop, and when to ally in order for our endeavor to move ahead. This card also indicates that we are constantly on the move or we are travelers by heart. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are reluctant to take the reins of the situation in our hands. We are being too rash. We are either moving too fast, too slow, or probably stagnating in the given situation. At 8, we have the Temple of Power. Now, in the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called Strength. In VyomSutra, it is Hanuman who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Power. Hanuman is a monkey god who incarnated to assist Lord Ram to set up his kingdom on earth. Hanuman is the god of wrestlers beyond all fears. He can be called upon for protection from any kind of evil. Hanuman is the symbol of strength and courage, and he draws these powers from his excellence in devotion to Lord Ram. Hence, the key essence of this card is devotion and strength. This card guides us to be devoted to the core desire of our heart, and gather the strength to follow it through. It indicates that our true power comes from being devoted to someone or something. This card also indicates that we have all the support we need, with the help of which we can scale mountains. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are plagued with fears, we are physically or emotionally vulnerable, feeling unsupported, or we are helping others at the cost of our own health. At 9, we have the Temple of Enlightenment. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Hermit. In VyomSutra, it is Buddha who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Enlightenment. Now, Buddha is an honorary title given to an enlightened being who has attained nirvana. As per ancient literature, in every era a Buddha is born who shows a path to free oneself and others from suffering and attain enlightenment. The Buddha of this era is Gautam Buddha. Buddha taught us that for one to get enlightened, one will have to follow meditative practices and introspect on the self with neutrality. Hence, the key essence of this card is neutrality and introspection. This card indicates that it is time to take a pause and go inwards, so that we can reach a neutral zone to introspect on the core desires of our heart and the actions that have to be taken in order to fulfill it. The inverted appearance of this card suggests a mind that is disturbed, overactive, anxious, or a mind that has been numbed by habits, tools, substances, or gadgets. The inverted appearance of this card also indicates a fear of going inwards and facing certain truths about ourselves. At 10, we have the Temple of Providence. Now, in the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Wheel of Fortune. In VyomSutra, it is Ganesha who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Providence. Ganesha is the elephant head god and is one of the most widely worshipped deities in the Hindu pantheon. This is primarily because before starting any endeavor or a prayer ritual, Ganesha is the first to be invoked so that we are lucky and fortunate to receive all the blessings that are best for us in the given endeavor. The essence of this card is luck and fortune. This card indicates that we are poised for a new beginning yet again. But unlike Gayatri, where we start the journey in oblivion, we are starting this journey with a lot more awareness and focus. Hence, the forces of luck and fortune are working with us in order to help us achieve our goal. The inverted appearance of this card indicates a message to avoid starting something new, many obstacles on our path, being unlucky or unfortunate, or gambling to a fault. At 11, we have the Temple of Karma. Now, in the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called Justice. In VyomSutra, it is Shani who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Karma. Shani is the planetary god and is an embodiment of the planet Saturn. He is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our life. Shani is manifested by the universe for only one purpose, that is to give beings the fruits of their karma. According to Vedic astrology, karma is the ultimate justice of the universe. No one, including the gods, is free from the righteousness of karma. The essence of this card is righteousness and justice. This card indicates a time to bear fruits of our actions, justice, and karmic balance. This card also advises us to play fair, take decisions, or make judgments after knowing or verifying all the facts by ourselves. The inverted orientation of this card suggests that we are making judgments or taking decisions without knowing or verifying all the facts by ourselves, biasness or favoritism, unfair actions, or getting involved in actions that are creating karmic bonds across lifetimes. At 12, we have the Temple of Humility. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Hangman. In VyomSutra, it is Ketu who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Humility. Ketu is part of an immortal demon who has the head of a snake. He is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our life. Ketu causes material loss in order to force a more spiritual outlook within a person. The head of Ketu represents the humility that one needs to have in order to flow with the universal plan. Ketu guides one to be flexible and allow the universe to mold the self that is best suited for the journey of life. Hence, the key essence of this particular card is humility and flexibility. This card indicates that in a time of uncertainty, it is best to drop the rigid perspective that we have about ourselves or about the subject, become flexible, and adapt to what life has to offer. It is time to humbly surrender and go with the flow, rather than fight to be in the so-called rat race. The inverted appearance of this card suggests being a control freak, too afraid to let go, being too rigid about certain ideas or perspectives, or flowing aimlessly without wanting to take charge of anything. At 13, we have the Temple of Transformation. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called Death. In VyomSutra, it is Mahakal who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Transformation. Now, Mahakal is the higher self or the God consciousness of Shiv. Mahakal represents the ultimate destructive power of the universe. Mahakal has the power to dissolve time and space and exist as void. If you see in the picture, there is a person lying down with its head cut off. This head symbolizes the ego, the false identity that a person has. And the person in the fire is the realized immortal soul, which is beyond life and death. So where Shiv guides one to know all that one is, Mahakal reveals the truth by making one realize all that one is not. Hence, the key essence of this card is realization and transformation. This card indicates that change is here and it is here to stay. It is time to liberate from the old and embrace the new. We have realized a truth about ourselves or about someone, which calls for a transformation within ourselves, within the environment, or with the relationship that we are having with the other. The inverted orientation of this card suggests difficulty in accepting the truth, playing ignorant, holding on to something that is bound to slip away, or being too attached, making liberation more difficult than it actually is. 14. Temple of Purification. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called Temperance. In VyomSutra, it is Amriteshwar who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Purification. Amriteshwar is the god of Amrit, the elixir of life, and is the healer avatar of Lord Shiv. Amriteshwar rules over the planet Shukra, which is also called the planet Venus, and is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology. As per Vedic scriptures, Shukracharya, the spiritual guru of the demons, did severe penance in order to please Lord Shiv, and he succeeded. Lord Shiv appeared before him as Amriteshwar and not only created a planet which was named after Shukracharya, but also blessed Shukracharya with the knowledge of the Sanjeevani Vidya, which is capable of healing and restoring anything and even bringing a dead person back to life. Hence, the key essence of this card is healing and restoration. This card indicates a good time to take a break, rest, heal and restore ourselves. This is a good time to practice holistic wellness and heal ourselves not only physically, but also emotionally, mentally and spiritually. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are closed to healing, maybe because of a subconscious benefit, or not giving enough time to heal ourselves, or probably neglecting the healer avatar in us that we are supposed to embrace. 15. The Temple of Honor. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Devil. In VyomSutra, it is Rahu who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Honor. Rahu is an immortal demon snake who has the body of a snake and is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our lives. Rahu bestows material pleasures, fame and earthly power, while at the same time tests us in the areas of lust, greed, arrogance and envy. Rahu tests our vigilance so that we can live a life of honor. Hence, the key essence of this card is temptation and vigilance. This card indicates having fantastic control and mastery over the mind and using this power to benefit ourselves and others. This card suggests that in order to live our life to the highest potential, we need to rise above the temptations and be vigilant about not drifting from our purpose and ideologies. The inverted appearance of this card suggests having a self-destructive mind, falling for temptations, mental health issues, or using the mind excessively for scheming and plotting. 16. Temple of Revolution. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Tower. In VyomSutra, it is Mangal who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Revolution. Mangal is a planetary deity and is an embodiment of the planet Mars. Mangal is part of the Navgraha in Vedic astrology, which greatly impacts our lives. Mangal is the god of war and rules over our bravery, courage, adventure and leadership abilities. Mangal reveals one's divine purpose and rights and lights a fire under our passion so that we can accelerate like an ignited rocket towards our goal. Hence, the essence of this card is revelation and acceleration. This card indicates that new information is being revealed to us that puts our life on the fast track. Changes are happening fast and sudden. Mangal also means welfare. Hence, it's an indication that these changes that are happening fast and sudden are happening for our own good, and we should be open to this change with open arms. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are being too aggressive, hot-headed, short-tempered, or passively aggressive. It also indicates a state of shock, as our inner forces like body or team members are revolting against us. 17. Temple of Fame. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Star. In VyomSutra, it is Budh who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Fame. Now, Budh is an embodiment of planet Mercury and is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our life. Budh awakens the aspirations of becoming a star in what one does, increases mental ability so that one can mentally uplift the society through its innovations and solutions to people's problems. The essence of this card is aspirations and ingenuity. This card indicates that we have used a mental acumen to uplift the society, and we have become more popular than we know it. It indicates a time to shine a light brightly so that others may draw inspiration and confidence from our existence. The inverted appearance of this card suggests being shy of attention or being an obsessive attention seeker, becoming popular for the wrong reasons, or being overshadowed by someone else's light. 18. Temple of Gratitude. Now, in the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the moon. In VyomSutra, it is Chandra who is the presiding deity in the temple of gratitude. Chandra, also known as moon, is the only natural satellite of Earth and is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our lives. As per ancient literature, Chandra was cursed to die of a disease that would slowly drain out his life force. However, Chandra's life was saved by Shiv after Shiv adorned Chandra on his head. This made Chandra's appearance more enduring. Chandra became immersed in gratitude for Shiv and dedicated his day, which is Monday, towards the worship of Shiv. The essence of this card is gratitude and endurement. This card indicates a time to have an attitude of gratitude and through acts of endearment, emotionally uplift people's mood with undertones of hope and compassion. The inverted appearance of this card indicates being ungrateful, being emotionally unstable, insensitive, not being expressive about our emotions, or being critical of the self and of others. 19. Temple of Supremacy. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the Sun. In VyomSutra, it is Surya who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Supremacy. Now, Surya is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our lives. Surya is probably the only god that is worshipped since ancient times in almost every religion or every community across the world till date. The grandeur of Surya cannot be ignored. It is considered to be supreme among all the planets as it burns itself in order to provide the vital life force energy for life to thrive across all planets. This card indicates that the creative energy that was let out earlier, even if as a hobby, has now become a thriving system to sustain life for generations to come. We live life king size, and our success is in the highest interest of all. The inverted orientation of this card suggests that either we have a superiority complex, which makes us arrogant, or an inferiority complex that makes us behave like an introvert. The inverted orientation of this card also suggests low on health and vitality. 20. Temple of Judgment. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called Judgment. In VyomSutra, it is Yam who is the presiding deity in the Temple of Judgment. Yam is the god of death, the judge of dharma, and the ruler of the underworld. As per ancient text, when a being's journey in life is over and it is time to die, Yam appears before the being. Yam has the report card of the mission with which the being had incarnated and analyzes how much of the mission has been completed. The being is able to observe this report with neutrality, as it is no longer connected with its physical body and its identity. This card indicates the end of an age, an era, or a period. This could be through the end of a job, the end of a relationship, the end of a project, the end of education, the completion of education, or retirement, or even liberation from a habit that has been part of us for a really long time. This card advises us that there's nothing more left to do. There's nothing more left to achieve, as I have done the best I could. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we are not in acceptance of the end, refusing to step down or move on to the next role, undermining our achievements, or simply thinking that our work is complete when it is actually not. 21. Temple of Wisdom. In the traditional tarot, this major arcana is called the world. In VyomSutra, it is Guru who is the presiding deity in the temple of wisdom. Now, Guru is a planetary deity and is an embodiment of the planet Jupiter. Guru is part of the Navgraha or 9 planets in Vedic astrology that greatly impacts our lives. Guru also means mentor, guide, teacher, or expert in a certain field or subject. As per Vedic astrology, Guru, also known as Brihaspati, is the priest and the teacher of the gods. Guru's responsibility is to guide the gods towards mastery in their craft for their spiritual welfare. Hence, the essence of this card is mastery and guidance. This card suggests that it is time to reach out to the world and guide people in the subject in which we have reached mastery. A wide range of experiences helps us understand and communicate with people in a way that they can relate to. The inverted appearance of this card suggests that we may be a jack of many trades but master of none. It may suggest that it is difficult for us to meet the demands of the world, hence we may have to scale down or define a small part of the world that we would like to reach out to. So that completes the 22 major arcana cards of the traditional tarot or the 22 temple cards in the VyomSutra oracle. There are many oracle systems that use only these 22 cards for guidance and divination. If you have any questions regarding the content of today's session, please write to us and we will get back to you. Till then, happy divinating. Bye-bye.